Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, all the news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's the host.
Hi folks, Cesar here. Sorry about those technical difficulties. A little eggnog in the studio, apparently. Welcome to the show. We've got a great show this evening. I'm going to close out 2015 with a discussion on the Affordable Health Care Act. Enroll-Virginia is my first guest. We'll talk to you about that here in a moment. Coming up in the other segments, we're going to talk about the prevailing issue of gun violence in our country and our culture. And then we're going to finish out the segments with a tribute to the folks that volunteer here in the studio. So stick around and we'll enter 2016 with a good bang here. My first guest, Susan Nolan. She's with Enroll-Virginia. She is a navigator. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cesar.
We are a month away, right? January 31st is the end of the enrollment. So folks, you got to get out there, get some affordable health care going on here. So real quick for the folks that don't know, Enroll-Virginia, you are the entity that is chartered and dedicated with the mission to
help people enroll.
Bingo.
Yes.
Right? And it's a big problem, right? I mean,
well, there's a lot of challenges. There's the maybe technical challenges of trying to enroll on your own. There's also a whole lot of people out there who have never had private health insurance, and they don't understand, they haven't a clue how it operates, how it works.
So I hear there's like 400,000 people in Virginia, roughly, still without healthcare insurance, right?
Right.
So take me through that. Walk through what people can do. If they're out there, you know, what's the first thing they can do to potentially research how to get some affordable health care?
Well, if they're comfortable using a computer, I strongly recommend going to healthcare.gov. There's a lot of excellent information on there, on that website. And you can also create your own account and enroll on your own. But as we know, many people are not that computer literate. They're not comfortable in that environment, and they don't understand all the questions. The questions are geared to elicit different information to get different results. And probably the most basic thing they don't understand is that Obamacare is not health insurance. It's a program to help people pay for health insurance. So what you're doing is you're applying based on your income and the size of your household to see what subsidies you might be eligible for in order to pay for the insurance. So
now here in Virginia, we have the opportunity. Certainly Governor McAuliffe supports this and the expansion of the Affordable Health Care Act. It's basically an opportunity for people to purchase health care where they couldn't prior to the Health Care Act.
So Affordable Care Act.
Correct. So explain to us a little bit, you know, you've got all these people out there, they'll go to websites, they'll make phone calls, but you basically help people navigate that whole thing, hence the title, right? So,
exactly.
So what does it take? I mean, what do you do? How can people take advantage of this?
Well, statewide, we have a number you can call to get an appointment with one of our sisters. You do need to have an appointment because the whole process can take up to an hour and a half. So an appointment is necessary to make sure we can spend sufficient time with you, because first is you're applying to get your eligibility, and then you're looking at maybe 30, 35 plans that you're eligible for, and we have to sift through those.
And now, just real quick, folks, this is the value of the navigators. There are so many options, so many variables. What happens if someone picks the wrong insurance? Right? So this is where you help them.
Right. And unfortunately, you cannot shop as well if you're doing an application over the phone as you can when you're visually seeing it on the computer screen. And a lot of people who did phone enrollments didn't have the full exposure or the full exploration of what plans they were eligible for and how they all functioned. Okay, so one of our challenges is to make sure they understand not only the coverage they had this past year if they were enrolled, but does that plan work for you?
Right.
And so that's why we have a statewide number you can call to find a sister location near you. We have a coalition of different nonprofits throughout Northern Virginia area that can give you an appointment to provide that assistance. And during open enrollment, we also have enrollment events on the weekends, trying to reach those people who can't get off work or whatever. And we advertise those for people can do walk-ins or appointments on Saturdays and Sundays. And our Enroll Virginia website can provide that type of information of enrollment events or where to find an assister. Healthcare.gov also has a function where you can find local help.
Okay.
So
obviously Northern Virginia, big hot spot, a lot of people. I'm assuming there's a lot of activity at these events, right?
yes.
Could it be more? I mean, November 1st to January 31st. I mean, how's the flux of people? Is it light?
You know how 90% of us procrastinate,
so
right?
January 29th, it'll get busy, right?
Oh, yes. Well, okay, and this is one of the things I want to emphasize tonight. When open enrollment started, we wanted to make sure that people understood that if you want coverage to start January 1, you needed to either apply, if you didn't have coverage yet, before December 15th,
Okay.
or if you already had coverage and you wanted to change it or tweak it or pick another plan, you also had to do that by December 15th for January 1 coverage. Well, that message, we made it so strong that some people think open enrollment is over, and it's not. Open enrollment for January 1 start date is over. Now we're in this segment of time where if you enroll or you update, it will not be effective till February 1.
Okay.
Okay, so that takes us through January 15th. These 15ths of the months trigger different effective dates. So if you enroll after January 16th, I'm sorry, 15th, then it'll be effective March 1.
Okay.
So that's the fluctuation in start dates.
Folks should get out there as soon as possible, but they have technically up until January 31st.
Midnight, January 31st.
Okay, we're not recommending that, but
No,
technically they do.
please, because I have a lot of people who were upset with me because there were only so many hours in the day and in the days in the week that I could help people. And when everybody was crashing in that last week before December 15th,
Sure.
It was pretty tough.
And so this is for households, right? So if I have a family and maybe I'm the only one, or maybe I need a child covered, so it's per household basically that this applies to, correct?
Right.
Okay.
The basic framework for applying is your tax household. Who's on your tax return?
You have to pay your taxes.
You have to
So
file a tax
You
return.
have to be either
If you're married, you have to file
citizen-
jointly.
Okay.
Okay, so when you do the application, you're going to input everybody on the application, but then they're going to ask, and so who needs coverage? Okay, so it's two separate processes there. So, maybe only one or two people in your household needs that coverage, but you still have to record your tax household. And then at the end of the year, you're going to receive a special form called a 1095 from the federal marketplace. And that's very, very important because that goes with your tax return to reconcile your income that you reported.
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a challenge because Virginia is a non-Medicaid expansion state.
Now explain that for the folks that don't fully grasp that. So the U.S. government, through the Affordable Health Care Act, said, here, there's all these monies and resources to help bring healthcare services in a not completely for-profit environment to states and the people that need them. So how does that help? How does that hurt? Or what are the barriers to some of that for people?
Well, originally the law was written that all the states would expand their Medicaid programs to cover people who fell below certain minimum income
Right, but
levels.
politics get involved and some states say...
Well, the Supreme Court got involved.
Right.
In 2012, they said the states do not have to expand Medicaid. It's up to them to choose to do so or
Again,
not.
politics got involved.
Okay. I'm a non-political
Got
person.
you, okay. I'm totally political.
Yes, we're a
dodged that one.
nonpartisan
Great.
community
Okay.
organization.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, as I was explaining to you earlier, for the Affordable Care Act, your income has to be within 100% of the federal poverty level, up to 400% in order to receive subsidies.
And remind people what, it's about $15,000 per household per year?
No,
Or is it per single person?
That's there's a range, okay? For a single person, the minimum income is $11,770.
Okay.
So it goes up. I have to look at my chart because I'm terrible with numbers. A family of 2 would need a minimum income of $15,930. A family of 4, $24,250.
These are the minimums.
These are the minimum incomes required to qualify for the program, because you have to pay monthly premiums.
Sure.
So it's like getting car insurance. You have to have resources in order to pay for it. And then within other income levels up to 250%, you additionally get lower copayments and deductibles and costs for that insurance. So we're trying to help this income level make it affordable as possible.
What are some of the challenges that you hear and find with people as they enroll or go through the process?
Well, one of the things I find frustrating is finding out that people don't understand the insurance they have. They're either underinsured or overinsured. And our challenge, and we've been trying to provide education classes this year just on how do you use your insurance. What do all these crazy terms mean? You know, co-insurance and deductible and copay and so forth. So my challenge is to explain to people who've never had insurance before how this works, what are the pluses and minuses for different plans. So if you pick a plan that has a very high deductible and most of your coverages kick in after you spend down your deductible, it could be expensive if you end up having a serious health issue.
Sure.
So one of the first questions I ask is, do you have any health issues? Have you had any health problems, et cetera? Because we want your insurance to best fit your needs. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah. And this is another reason why it's important to get with the navigators and get this done.
Yep.
Folks, the #1 cause of bankruptcy in this country is healthcare costs. So please get this done. Enroll Virginia. You got great people like Susan there waiting to help you out. Thank you, Susan, and we'll be back with our next segment.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Open enrollment is back. Enroll Virginia wants you to get covered for 2016 and beyond. You have until January 31st to enroll in affordable health care. If you wish to have coverage by January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. That's less than a month from now. Remember, the penalty for not having health insurance next year is a minimum of $695 per person. Don't think twice about it. To find an enrollment event near you or to get free help with the application, visit our webpage or give us a call. El periodo de inscripción ha comenzado. Enroll Virginia quiere que tú y tu familia tengan cobertura médica este próximo 2016. Tienes hasta el 31 de enero para inscribirte. Si deseas cobertura desde el 1 de enero, debes inscribirte antes del 15 de diciembre. Recuerda que si no tienes cobertura el próximo año, te multarán una suma mínima de $695 por cada adulto. No lo pienses más y visita nuestra página para más información o para ayuda con la solicitud.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning. Why?
Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better.
Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi, folks. Cesar here, back with you, and thank you for joining us again. I've got my very good friend Kevin in the house. Kevin, thanks for coming back. He's with the Brady campaign here in Northern Virginia. I like meeting you. I like talking to you, but it's always on the same topic, gun violence. When are we going to fix this? No.
There are a lot of people that have been in this for 20 and 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm just coming up on 2 years as an activist.
So you're youngin'.
Brady. I'm a youngster.
Okay.
I'm a 75-year-old youngster.
Charged up, ready to go. Appreciate what you do.
But many in the movement are saying that we're at a tipping point.
How so?
We just had the 3-year anniversary of the massacre up at Newtown, Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
We had over 350 people outside the NRA headquarters.
Yeah.
I was chanting outside, and I was shown, people sent me clips from ABC, Reuters, and Daily Mail. I mean, we have taken the initiative to the NRA, and we really believe that we're at a tipping point.
Oh. And just for clarity, verify this for me. I heard the NRA doesn't allow guns within their building. Is that true?
I've not been in the building.
Well, I heard that, and I thought, wow, a little irony there, don't you think?
Well,
let's verify that. I want to get that verified for the next segment.
I do not know.
Okay.
I also heard and would like to be able to have verified that at their recent convention, their last convention, there were no firearms allowed in the convention. No concealed carry.
Really?
Well, it's dangerous.
Oh, wait a second. You mean guns and a lot of people? Dangerous. Wow, okay. Let's come back to that.
Okay.
A little bit more of a more serious tone. Coming up on or passing the anniversaries, you mentioned the tipping point, you feel it. What's beyond there? What do you hope happens moving forward here?
What we hope happens is that we replace some legislators who refuse to honor the will of the people.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the statistics and the polling, those in favor of universal background checks, those in favor of keeping firearms away from people convicted of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get rid of the legislators who will not further that legislation, and they're there. And we will go see them in 2 weeks. On the 18th of January, we will go see them.
So there's they're in session, the General Assembly in Richmond. You're going to pay these folks a visit?
Yes, on if I can,
Sure.
on Monday the 18th, which is great. It's Martin Luther King 24th annual Vigil and Advocacy Day to remember the victims of gun violence, and we're asking people to come because the other side turns people out. They will have many people down in Richmond on that day. And
now, will they have guns, and are they allowed to go into the General Assembly with guns?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They will.
Okay.
And they did. Last year was my first year there.
That's pretty wacky.
Well, not to try and can you top this? How wacky it was last year. The concealed carry and the open carry, and walking into the General Assembly building while our group with our background checks save lives are going in with American flags about on a stick about like this, and we're told we could not bring the sticks in to the General Assembly. They could be used as a weapon. Now,
Are you kidding?
I knew that would be your reaction.
Oh my God!
Cannot bring that stick in. It could be used as a weapon.
You
Never
could
mind the
poke
Glock.
someone's eye out with that. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
So anyway, on the 28th, come on down and join us. There's a wonderful quote on the flyer I'm referring to. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter.
Sure.
Talking about lives that end, 37 on Christmas Day killed with guns. 37 people killed on Christmas Day. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday the 28th, we will have Monday the 18th, we will have a vigil to remember the victims of gun violence outside by the bell tower. and then an hour later, and for the next 2 hours, we ask you to go into the General Assembly building and seek out your representative, your senator, and if you know of one that does not hold your view, and hopefully that view is common sense gun legislation, universal background check, no guns for domestic violence, convicted misdemeanors. If you're not comfortable confronting, then go find one that's voted along the lines that you support and thank them. So you can go either way depending on how comfortable you are with what you're asked to do.
Let's peel that back a little bit. So you're not advocating taking guns away from law-abiding citizens.
Absolutely not.
You're not advocating they not being able to continue purchasing whatever guns or weaponry they want.
Would like to see it one a month, as opposed to unlimited, but no, we're not after any of those things.
So let's say I go to a gun show, and it's a private dealer, or someone's bought a booth. I go and purchase a gun or rifle or whatever. Today, is there a background check on me?
If he's not a federally licensed
so that's
gun
a
dealer,
loophole you want to
close.
Target.
Universal background check.
So I could be, I've heard this analogy, I could be someone who's on a no-fly list and go to a gun show in Virginia to a private dealer and buy guns.
Correct.
And there's no background check on me.
No.
Okay, so that to me is common sense. So what is the rationale or the position of someone who is not in favor of that, let's call it a common sense check?
Well, I don't see a rational thought process there. Last year after Lobby Day, I told the people that I carpooled down with that I wouldn't do this again because it was so depressing.
Really? Okay.
But I am.
Well, this is Virginia, right? I mean,
there are committees and subcommittees where bills are presented, and because of the political structure of that committee, subcommittee, the bill is tabled or otherwise killed. And it has to do with the makeup of the committee or the subcommittee.
Elections matter, by the way. Elections matter.
Absolutely.
So here's the cause and effect. If you are in Virginia and you have a representative in the House and you are for common sense gun laws and that background check being the one I described, you should ask your representative how they would vote. And if they vote a different way, you may want to consider supporting them or not. Because that's where it starts.
Absolutely.
Because until you change the makeup in the General Assembly, in the House or the Senate, none of this stuff really gets changed, right?
It looks to me, and I'm not a lawyer, but it looks to me that the House is the problem. I'll go back to what got me involved, coming up, as I said, on 2 years in February. It was a bill that came out of the Senate with a vote of 29 and 6 and 5. 40 senators, 29 in favor.
In the House? I mean, in the
Senate.
Wow.
And 6 and 5. Either 6 abstained or weren't there, and 5 voted against, or the 5, 6 is reversed. But there were 29 in favor.
Wow. That's bipartisan.
It had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah.
It went over to the House to a subcommittee chaired by one Rob Bell, who represents Charlottesville.
Sure.
Who has declared himself for Attorney General. That is a scary prospect to me, because he killed that 29-6-5 bill, which would have kept guns out of the hands of misdemeanor convicted stalkers, sexual abusers, domestic violence people.
Wow.
He killed it. I sent an email to every member of his committee and asked why. I got one response that said, "What you don't understand, Mr. Bergen, is that this is where gun bills are sent to die."
Wow.
That's not democracy.
No, it's not. And just so, I know I may be insulting some people. I just want to, the Senate has 40 state senators, right? And it's generally been split lately, 2020, Republican, Democrat. So for any bill to get 29 yays in the Virginia Senate is a pretty darn good bill.
Yes, absolutely. That's why the way it was written up in the Post caused me to say, this is not my government. This is not democracy.
Right.
And that's why I got involved. A sad note is the following year that bill was reintroduced and pared down and made, we thought, more palatable to the other side, and it didn't get as far as it got the first time.
So you got less than 29 votes in the Senate. Was there an election in between the first and the second vote?
I don't know the answer to that.
There must have been. My theory is there probably was, because that's what happens. Folks, and again, to reiterate, elections matter. So if you're going to do things and you want some change, you need to do some research in terms of who, and that's great. The other side may rally their folks and pass, and that's representative democracy. But I get the feeling that some of these common sense laws truly do transcend the parties. Witness
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who could be against keeping guns out of the hands of somebody convicted of sexual stalking and domestic violence?
See, when I ask other folks to come onto the show and help me understand their side, I don't get a lot of takers. So, but thank you for coming on, because I think we're kind of more in line with common sense laws that make us.
I agree.
A little bit more sane.
That's not a surprise.
Oh. So help me. Let's go. We'll go to some of these other pieces in the next segment. But talk to me about what you want to do in 2016 when we come back from the break. But let's talk about some of these other things that are on your top list there.
Okay.
So.
Now, or are we going to break?
We're going to go to break, but at a high level, I know you've got a bunch of things that we want to certainly accomplish. So,
all right, very good.
We'll do that, folks. And again, just for the folks at home, remember Monday, January 18th. If you can get down to Virginia, the state capitol, the General Assembly, the folks will be there. So come back after the break, and we'll continue this very important discussion.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Well, it's a matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about $3,000. Nothing very nice. Homeless minds. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
Why don't you just wash your car at home? When I wash my car, everything runs down the street and down into the storm drains. With all the chemicals in the soaps and waxes, the last thing I want to do is poison my own drinking water. At least here, it's all contained and recycled on site. That's why I also take my car in for oil changes instead of doing it myself. I might take a chance on spilling stuff. You know what the best part is?
What?
More time to kick back and watch the game.
How far would you go to protect the planet?
I want you to build an ark.
Here we go. Okay, that's good. Oh, okay. Ow!
Maybe there's another way.
People, the flood is imminent!
Is it too much to ask for a little precipitation?
Go to fightglobalwarming.com to find out what you and your community can do to reduce global warming pollution.
Somewhere around the world, there are men and women of the armed forces risking their lives, helping rebuild communities after natural disasters, collecting toys for needy children, tutoring kids in school. These are your sons and daughters who work to keep us safe, secure, and free. Dedicated men and women who put their country first.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi, folks. Cesar here. Welcome back to our segment on gun violence. I'm here with my good friend Kevin from the Brady campaign. A lot to talk about here. Let's finish up on Monday, January 18th. Make sure people have all the information. That is the Vigil and Advocacy Day for gun violence, right?
Yes, and a good piece of information about that is we're going to have buses going down from Northern Virginia, and that's Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America.
Okay.
If you have any questions, contact Kayla Hicks at, those are Virginians for Responsible Gun Laws, and her number is 757-550-0316. Kayla Hicks, 757-550-0316.
Monday, January 18th, folks. Let's make sure we get a lot of people there.
And a neat side note to this, obviously it's a holiday. Less traffic.
Sure.
Okay. You might be off from work. Your kids won't be in school. What a civics lesson. If you've got age-appropriate kids to take down there, if they want to see how their government works or doesn't,
sure,
take them down to Richmond on the 18th of January and sit in on a committee hearing.
That's a great idea. Something that made the news recently, Attorney General Mark Herring. Full disclosure, I've donated to his campaign. We're good friends. I love him. Reciprocity. Not many people know about this, but this was big. This was big. It's got some folks pretty crazy down in different parts of the state. So he basically, correct me if I'm wrong, went forward with a little common sense. Just because you have the right in other states doesn't mean you can bring them to Virginia, correct?
Well, yes, that's correct. And it's ironic because one thing we have heard from the other side, if I can characterize it that way, is we don't need new laws. Let's just follow the laws that we have. Okay, let's do that. We have laws in Virginia that lay out what you can and cannot have in terms of what's on your record and what we know about you in order to get a concealed carry permit.
So real quick, the domestic abusers, there are some qualifications, right?
There are. In Virginia, by Virginia law.
Okay.
Well, there are 25 states that have less than what we require for their citizens to conceal carry. Well, Attorney General Herring got with Brian Moran, the Chief of Public Safety, at the direction of the governor, and they researched Virginia law, and the law says. And so now 25 states and their citizens cannot come into Virginia with their concealed carry. And they're not happy.
Wow. and again, what the rationale being what? That if I'm from another state, Texas, New Hampshire, or some of these less dense states, what's the rationale for me being able to come into Virginia with my weaponry? What help me understand?
Because my gun goes where I go. I have a concealed carry permit. I like to have my gun for personal safety, and I don't demean or mean to put down people who have a concealed carry permit. There are many reasons to have it, and many valid and good and reasonable reasons, but not the reasons that Attorney General Herring cited in if you have this or this or this checked, you can't bring it into Virginia. You have less of a requirement in New Hampshire or Wyoming or wherever.
Now, these aren't really radical guides. These aren't really radical requirements. It's just if you've got a history of, whether it be offenses or charges or convictions, right? That he's not talking about the law-abiding citizen.
Absolutely not. No. If they meet Virginia's requirement or better, because there are states that have stricter requirements than Virginia. So if you meet Virginia's requirements, then you can bring in your concealed weapon.
Wow.
But not from the 25 states that have just been ruled out because their requirements.
It's pretty frightening, and I hate to laugh at this, but Virginia's pretty It's the wild, wild west of, so to think that there are 25 other states that have
lesser
restrictions is pretty amazing to me. But okay, seems reasonable to me. What about some of these other items in terms of, we talked about some of the restrictions and how are we sort of like putting all this together in something that makes sense and presenting it to the public? What are some of the things that you guys are working on?
Well, I believe that our approach is we've identified the three bills that we would like to get some movement on. We would like to see the needle move. Because of the structure that we talked about in the House of Delegates, we're not hopeful that that will happen. But we would like to see movement at least. And that would be universal background checks. That would be not letting those convicted of domestic violence and those similar crimes that we talked about be in possession of a firearm, owned by, carry, transport. And the last would be one gun a month. We had one gun a month, and it was repealed. Now it's unlimited. So we would like to take those three and see some movement on those. You had mentioned research before, and I had a personal experience, I think, that speaks to this. If you're going down to Richmond, or if you can't, but you want to get involved and want to have an impact on this common sense gun legislation issue, the first thing you need to know and ask yourself is, do I know my state senator? Do I know my representatives?
Sure.
Do I know their stand on these issues? And you can find that out easily on the internet with a telephone call, with an email, because if you don't know, then you can't find fault with what the result is in Richmond when the bill gets killed.
Right. Well, and you have to know who they are, and you have to vote. Right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, look, I think it's tough. By the way, who are the sponsors that you're working with on those three bills? In terms of at the House, or is there I know.
I don't know who is going to advance which bill. We will have a gathering before we go down to Richmond, and we will know the bills that we want to support. We will know the bills that we're opposed to, and that word will be disseminated. As I sit here tonight, I do not know who the sponsors of individual bills
I know, just personally, I know Senator Howell, Senator Favola, they tend to be forward with some of these bills. So
Senator Favola had the bill that I mentioned previously about misdemeanant that was killed in Bell's subcommittee.
I'm proud to say my senator, Senator Wexton, is a big supporter. So we got to talk to people, right? Get some common sense out there.
And we really need to get people out. We're not known as the side that turns the people out. The NRA, I give them reluctant credit because they will turn their people out. There will be many, many people in Richmond on the 18th with Guns Save Lives orange stickers with their gun on their hip, going in to lobby their senators and representatives. I've had a public official tell me, you guys won't move the needle until you increase your numbers. You've got to increase your numbers. So we need you to come. And if you can't come, you don't have to come on the 18th. Go down the following week if that's when you can go, and call and make an appointment and ask to get in to see whoever it is you want to see.
Do you all look at sort of the election results and kind of think back or look back at, what was done? Because you've got all these every 2 years for the House and every 4 for the Senate. I mean, are you doing sort of that postmortem?
We have people that do that. We were very happy to get McPike into the Senate, and there was quite a bit of discussion on the fact that we didn't take another seat. That there was quite a bit of effort put into getting, and we did not get it. But but the gap was closed so significantly that we took heart from that, and that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a water on the rock kind of a thing. It's not going to happen in January. It's not going to happen in November.
Yeah, this is clearly a fundamental change in Richmond that you're talking about doing. It is transforming the mentality, the culture that thinks it's okay to, constantly deal with this issue over and over and do nothing about it. How many more anniversaries, how many more mass shootings need to happen? And again, we're not talking about law-abiding citizens being affected.
Not at all.
It's a segment that, for better or for worse, has fallen through the cracks through some way, that have easy access to weaponry that, quite frankly, is capable of doing a lot of damage to a lot of people very quickly.
I agree, and I believe that if we could get reliable, objective data as to how many NRA members support the position that we have on universal background checks, on 1 gun a month, and on restricting access to guns for people convicted of those crimes that I've mentioned, I believe the number would exceed 50% in all 3 of those proposed legislations of NRA members. There's no way for us to find that out, I don't think, but I think it would be enlightened. I don't know how a politician can sit there and deny that this is common sense that we're asking for.
Well, what you do is your members join the NRA. You change it from within.
That's been discussed. I think I think new members are vetted very well to see where they might be coming
Well,
from.
I mean, hell, people can have different views. I mean, that's the whole point of, representation. If I'm a member, I paid my money, I paid my dues, I want to voice my opinion. And if it's not the case, then that's a different, separate issue. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on again.
My pleasure.
I want the day to come where we can, report on some bigger progress.
Victory, at least, even if it's one bill.
Slowly.
One bill.
Slowly, we'll get there.
Okay.
Folks, thank you again for joining us. Coming up in the next segment, our tribute to the year-end volunteer efforts. We'll be right back.
Saving for retirement might be easy for some folk, but for others, it might take a little more work. And for those who haven't started, there are still things you can do to catch up.
Oh, that is good news.
Like getting out from underneath past debt. And don't get wrapped up with high-interest credit cards.
Get you some eyes.
Be diversified with your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Your financial goals are not out of reach. The choice is clear. For a happy ending, choose to save.
Everyone with alcohol and drug addiction is in the same boat. With treatment, you can find solid ground. For drug and alcohol information and treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Dude, are you sure you want this tattoo? Because just do it.
Some mistakes in life are permanent. Like hearing loss. To learn how to protect your hearing, visit asha.org.
You've probably heard about heart disease, but did you know that it's the #1 killer of women nationwide? Heart disease claims more lives each year than breast cancer, lung cancer, or strokes combined. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself against it. For more information on how you can prevent heart disease, contact your local American Heart Association or visit their website at www.americanheart.org.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. here again, your host.
Hi folks, Cesar here, back with our last and final segment of 2015. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for watching us week after week, and I also want to thank a great crew here. They volunteer, put this show on, and look, it is a lot of work to get these on the air. I do take them out for drinks, full disclosure. Afterwards, we have fun. But I wanted you to meet some of the people that make this show possible. And again, a heartfelt thanks to them. In the studio with me right now, I've got Jim Southworth, producer. Thank you, sir, for all you do.
We've been doing this now for about 10 years.
10 years.
10 years, and we do almost 100 shows a year.
That's crazy. Why do you do it? Why do you do it?
Because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
It's a way of giving back to the community.
Sure.
And we've had a chance to shine the light on, well, tonight, Obamacare issues, gun violence issues.
Yep.
We last week we did foster care. We've all sorts of medical and other issues that are important to the community. And we'll listen to someone that walks in the door and says, "I want to get on the air."
We invite everyone, right? We invite everyone. All views, come on. Look, we're respectful to everyone. We ask some tough questions here and there.
Well, there's no sucker punches, though.
No.
There's tough questions, but there's no sucker punches.
Yeah, because we want people to come back.
Exactly.
I've had people on the other side that we could not disagree more. On here, talking the issues.
But they've been treated fair.
Absolutely. And I think I'll attribute a lot of that to how you and some of the other folks bring the guests on and put all this into context.
Well, one of the other things there's other shows like us here at Fairfax Public Access, but none that really use the system we've developed and polished. That makes it even possible for you to do your job easier.
I could Skype it in from home, right?
Right.
I mean, I could be at home.
But the clocks, the way we've structured the presentations, the way we're segmented, but we can adapt to problems. So we do different.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that at the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah.
Look, no drink until after the show. So anything else? Because I want to bring some of the other folks on here.
Well, you've got a lot to choose from. We have active about 30 members of the crew that work the various shows on an as-available basis. And they're amazing people.
Yeah.
They're amazing, and gluttons for punishment because we work on so many things.
They work magic. I mean, they really do. And speaking of magic, whoa, where'd he come from? Hey, Ralph, let's go, guy. Where'd he come from? Wow, look at that. So, what do you do here?
Some of the magic behind the scenes.
Yeah, sure. He's got a mic there. Okay. So you do the floor management, the magic. In the studio here. So what brings you out and beyond the free drinks I provide after the show?
The liquid inducement. I'm happy to help, and I think that this program, what we do here, brings a lot of good information and really get into the weeds on local issues.
And we're making a difference. We know we're making a difference.
I think so. So and that more information and letting people locally know what's going on, being able to make informed decisions about what's going on in their community, that's always going to be helpful. So.
Yeah, because this is really where it all kind of comes out, right? I mean, the stuff in Northern Virginia, the Silver Line, town elections, decisions on land use, all that stuff comes out of here. Yeah. So, what's one of your all's favorable sort of memories for 2015? Some of the shows and some of the impacts.
Actually, the whole system we did for the League of Women Voters.
Okay. Shed the light on that.
We did almost 80-some.
It's year end.
Yeah,
good going, guys.
We did 80-some. We had some.
Get that guy out here.
Yeah, we got to drag him in here in a minute. But it's made a difference. We heard from the candidates. Yep. We heard from the electorate, and there's nothing quite like all the stuff we do anyplace else in the state or in this general area. So, and technically, And people may have noticed we're now technically one of the most sophisticated in the country.
Yeah.
We're all HD.
That's great. Well, good and bad, right? Same along those lines?
No,
something memorable?
The League of Women Voters Forum is especially fantastic because you get to have not just some of your friends or people from your side of the fence, but everyone there, and you really go after the issues and you answer questions, and that's always very helpful.
Including the tough questions.
Including tough questions. But some of our more in-depth things about some of the local community organizations are also really enjoyable too.
Traumatic brain injury issues.
Traumatic brain injury. I'd like to interview with Ask Karate about the court docket, the veterans court docket.
Yeah.
So I found that to be really good.
Yeah, I do like all the local stuff. I mean, and again, you guys work that magic. You guys make this stuff happen. Without you guys and other volunteers, if they want to come on, make it happen. So
well, we actually go one step further.
Speaking of more magic.
Speaking of talking heads.
That is freaky.
I'm sorry, I'm just a talking head.
Our floor manager here.
But
you want to stay in character?
But I'm a talking head that also does magic tricks. So check this latest magic trick out. It's I appear and Raph vanishes.
Okay. All right. So
that's the power we have here at Fairfax County Public
really
Access.
Cool. Really cool. All in HD, coming to you live. So same question. Who the heck are you? Tell the folks what you do here.
And now I think we're all gone. We've been wiped away from the
wow. Okay.
existence. But
that's good.
I'm Nate. I do floor directing, audio, whatever the heck they need here. Been here for the last couple of years now.
And Nate definitely comes for the beer.
7-8 years now.
He comes for the beer after the show. I will tell you.
That's pretty much the main draw. But no, because I have come here. I've been here before you came, after you've come. You know, I've loved the fact that we have so many different sorts. You know, we have political guests, we have politicians, we have social activists. You know, just the conversation we were having. I think we're getting a little bit off balance here, but just the conversation we were having just this last minute on the gun control and the healthcare enrollment. No.
Okay, guys. Funny. All right. Someone in the studio needs to come out. Come on, guys. Let's roll it in.
I think we need
another 5 minutes here.
Someone else right here.
So thanks, Nate. We'll see you at the bar later, right? All right. Who else we got here?
How you doing tonight?
Doing great.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Kevin, meet the crowd.
How do you do, everybody?
Okay, Kevin. What do you like most about volunteering here?
I like working with Jim here. Yeah, just working with him, learning a lot about the media industry. I've done other projects through the years. I've done movies. Was a producer and actor on a couple of films and little other media projects, and I enjoy it. So now I'm getting into TV, and that's it's been a wonderful experience since I've been here.
Different animal, and we do this live. Right?
Yes.
A little different here, right?
Oh yeah.
We're live.
There is no take one, take two. It's literally you screw up.
Well,
everybody just saw it.
A little different, but no. Well, appreciate you helping out here. You're joining us for drinks afterwards, right?
Oh, always.
It's funny how they all do that. Who else is in the studio? Come on out, guys. So, Jim, you've got quite the cult following of volunteers, and
most of it is, you got to understand, these guys are all volunteers.
So who are you talking to? Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, they're all volunteers. They come and go electronically, but we have an amazing platform here of the latest and best state-of-the-art equipment.
Well, and people should know that the Northern Virginia community, Fairfax specifically, the funding goes to a great cause here. I mean, this stuff is high tech.
Well, and we take only a small fraction, just a few cents out of everybody's cable bill, and then we take very good use of that, and we earn other sources of income. Like we own our building, we rent out some of the office space.
If people want to come check out the studio, the address is
2929 Eskeridge Road. And it's in the Mosaic District, as it's now called.
Right near the corner of Gallows and 29?
Correct.
And we are coming to you live from Studio C. That's it.
There are 3 fully equipped digital studios now, besides the audio studios where we also do radio and audio processing. We're far better equipped. We have over 500 servers connecting us into the internet, including a couple located in California, which we then stream the show worldwide.
Yeah.
So we're not your normal public access.
Well, and that's what's cool about it, right? I mean, this is technology. We can Skype people in. You know, we probably plan on expanding that in 2016. General Assembly, our elected officials.
Well, or like 4 weeks ago or so, we cut to a girl who was hanging 2,000 feet above the canyon below on a mountain in Texas, as she was sitting there on the ledge having her dinner of roasted insects. But it was all live from her iPhone. So we can get in. We did live broadcasts from the lobby of the UN building in New York, and we're talking with heads of state and ambassadors as they walk by. Or the auto show. We were doing HD from the auto show, showing the latest cars and so on. We do a little bit of everything to keep the interest, but also we're not bounded by having to be in the studio if we have to.
Yeah, there we go. We're on the bridge of the Enterprise here. So this is the studio, folks, that I've been pushing for a long time. You'll see more of this in 2016. But I think I'm going to be in this chair right here, and my guests will be on either side. What do you think?
That should work. That should work.
So I kind of like that. That's... yeah, can I get that? I need new music too. We got to talk about that. The music that you've got me on, we need to upgrade that into at least to the 90s, right? To the 90s. So we'll do that. Looking forward to 2016. It's going to be a great year, right?
A whole new year, and we've done from a technology. We've done a bunch of upgrades. From a people, we've got some new hosts. Amy was with us last week, and we've expanded our hosts to have a rotation of both the hosting part of it as well as the content, and we do quite a bit.
And more to come. More to come, sir. And appreciate all your support and
Happy
the
New
cruise.
Year, my friend.
Absolutely, always a pleasure. And folks, as we say goodbye here to 2015, I know we're wrapping up. I just again want to thank you for the support, and we definitely look forward to seeing you back in 2016. Thank you so much. All right, buddy. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.